You going to be a football player when you grow up?
The Manning family, possibly football's most well-known and beloved family. Before we discuss who the next great Manning is and why he's being called the best Manning ever, it's important to go back first and look at the Manning's football history. Archie Manning started it all at Ole Miss. He became well known as a Heisman candidate and the second overall pick in the 1971 draft. He basically turned into a local hero for Mississippi fans. And I'm not talking just awards, Hall of Fame, and trophies. They made the speed limit on campus 18 miles an hour just to honor his jersey number. After Ole Miss, he played for the Saints for 10 seasons, and although he sure was talented, the teams he played for, not so much. He ended up having 3 sons that would go on to carry his football legacy. The second son, Peyton, was one of the most popular high school recruits ever. He didn't follow his dad to Ole Miss and instead went to Tennessee. There was a pretty big expectation that he would go on to play for the Rebels, and his parents actually received angry phone calls and letters when he didn't. Archie was called a traitor, and even a gas station told the Mannings not to come back. Archie was apparently just devastated by the decision. And the reason I'm bringing this up is so we can discuss later where this next Manning will go to school. Still, as you know, it worked out for Peyton. Tennessee was frequently a title contender, and Peyton was often a Heisman candidate. After that, he became regarded as one of the top prospects of all time. Maybe only John Elway and Andrew Luck were more hyped up than Peyton.
With the first pick in the draft, the Indianapolis Colts select quarterback, University of Tennessee, Peyton Manning.
After the Colts picked him number 1 overall, he became a 2-time Super Bowl champ, 5-time NFL MVP, and put together some of the most downright impressive football seasons that we've ever seen. So, as you can imagine, with Peyton basically being touted as one of the best players in the world from the get-go, there was also a great expectation on Eli Manning.
18-0, one more to go, Super Bowl, whoa, whoa.
But Eli, it seems, has never let any expectation or pressure bother him. He followed his father's footsteps to Ole Miss, and he set school records for passing yards and touchdowns. The Chargers had the number 1 pick in 2004 and used it on him.
When I talk to you after the pick, will you be wearing a Chargers hat?
I don't know. We'll see what happens.
But reports said that Archie didn't want Eli's career to end up like his. So they forced a trade to the Giants. Eli would go on to win 2 Super Bowls, but really what I'm trying to show here is how this family legacy can and will affect the entire football landscape.
You'd kill me with that crunching.
How you lunch?
Just have to eat the bag.
And let's not forget about Cooper Manning. I saved him last for a reason. And fun fact, the pronunciation isn't exactly Cooper, but I've also read this thing like 4 times and I'm still not exactly sure to say it. Plus, on his own TV segment, they introduce him as Cooper, so we're just going to go with Cooper.
How many people you think have peed in this pool?
936 people, usually about 20,
Make
30
that
people.
937.
Before Peyton or Eli, Cooper was the highly rated prospect that was the son of Archie Manning. He committed to Ole Miss as a talented quarterback turned wide receiver. In fact, Archie said Cooper was always the best athlete of the 3 boys. But tragically, he never actually got the chance to catch a pass at Ole Miss. He was diagnosed with a spinal condition that ended his playing career. Cooper still made the best out of his situation, thriving first in the business world and now becoming a successful comedian. When people ask him why he isn't like his 2 brothers, he seems to say anything to lighten the mood around what actually happened to him. Like saying he's run out of eligibility now at the age of 45, or that he's always liked ballet. Obviously, the news of the condition was heartbreaking, and Cooper told Peyton he wanted to live out his football dreams through him. So later, Cooper started going up to Tennessee games. And Peyton once told a great story about this. He said, "On Friday night, we had a 10:30 curfew. Cooper would go out to a bar and sit around drinking beer and smoking a cigar. It's 1 in the morning. Before you know it, some Tennessee fan walks up to him and says, 'Hey Peyton, what are you doing out? It's 1 o'clock. And instead of correcting the guy, Cooper says, Hey, we're just playing Kentucky tomorrow. What's the big deal? So sorry for this long intro.
That was half the video.
But I do feel like there was some good stuff in there. And now you've got a good idea of who exactly this family is. Now we have the next in line, Cooper's son, Arch Manning. And just like the rest of his family besides his dad, he's a quarterback. At 13 years old, Arch was already going viral. Sure, this was just a video of a kid throwing a football, but when that kid's name ends in Manning, people tune in. Just like you are for this video. Let's take it to the Newman School, the New Orleans private school where the Manning boys all played. Peyton and Eli didn't start their freshman year, but Arch did. After throwing for 3 touchdowns in a spring game, he won the starting job. His coach said, he's got 2 good uncles that have worked on some footwork and some throwing with him a little bit. He does look sound. If you look at his mechanics and his release, he's further ahead than most we've had. I think he looks the part right now. The coach added Arch has pinpoint accuracy and great pocket awareness. In his high school debut, he threw for 3 touchdowns in a blowout win. Then his coach said, he doesn't look like a freshman. That maturity and how you handle those tight moments are where the greatness can come. At 6'1" currently, Arch is certainly starting to develop the size of your classic NFL quarterback. And this year he played like his NFL uncles too. He threw for over 2,400 yards and 34 touchdowns and led his team to a 9-2 record. Arch also plays basketball, and his current coach Randy Livingston went to school with Peyton back in the day. And Livingston actually won the Gatorade National Player of the Year in basketball the year before Peyton won it in football. Anyway, Livingston said to The Athletic, "I've told Archie and Cooper this, and I'm being honest. At the same age, he's better than Eli and Peyton. And it's not even close. And that's scary. Very scary." Now you might say, well, Livingston specializes in basketball. And I would add, a football talent scout at Rivals said, he's going to be a star, there's no way around it. He's doing things as a freshman that he shouldn't be doing. Arch won Max Prep's National Freshman of the Year, an award recently won by guys like Joey Bosa and Trevor Lawrence. So with such a spotlight on him, you can guess every big name program in the country will want to get a head start on possibly recruiting this kid. And according to 24/7 Sports, LSU's Ed Ogeron has already made a trip to visit Arch. Obviously, with LSU now coming off a national championship and helping create a monster quarterback in Joe Burrow, the Tigers would certainly pull some weight in the recruiting department. Arch also went to a camp at LSU last summer. And just another little nugget of information, Odell Beckham actually went from Newman to LSU. Finally, maybe the biggest draw from LSU would be going to a school near his home. And of course, we had to bring up Ole Miss and the family's legacy. Head coach Lane Kiffin appeared to have visited Arch as well. In a now deleted tweet, he posted a photo of the coach's office at the high school and then proceeded to tag Ole Miss and Peyton's Tennessee. For Arch, continuing his grandpa and uncle's legacy at Ole Miss could be looked at either way. It seemed like Peyton wanted his own fresh slate in college, but Cooper and Eli went the more expected route. For what it's worth, 24/7 Sports also has Duke listed, and the Ole Miss interest is warm. There's still a long way to go. Arch is in the class of 2023, but I mean, come on, this could be the most talked about prospect we've ever seen. And if Ogeron and Kiffin are already visiting, there could be another dramatic recruitment battle going on in the Manning family and the entire football landscape. If you enjoyed this video, and if you're still watching, you probably did, or you just hate yourself, then sub it up either way for more stuff like this. And please remember to support this channel by liking the video.
How many pictures do you send them? You don't have to send them every single picture you've ever taken. Everybody has one picture and you have 4.